Hello, and welcome to another Farmers National Bank Blue Table Talk. I'm Kevin Helmick, President and CEO of Farmers, and today I have a very special and timely guest with us. It's a good friend of not only mine, but of Farmers National Bank, man who comes by many titles, ex-Vindicator editor, owner and president of the greatest golfer in the Valley, and really the guru of the greatest golfer of the Valley. So we welcome Mr. Todd Franko.
Kevin, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, welcome. It's great to see you.
Great digs.
Yeah.
I feel like I've arrived.
You've arrived. You've arrived. And it's a really busy time for you. So we appreciate you carving out a little bit of time for us to tell us about what Todd's been up to, what the greatest golfer has been up to. But I really feel, your story and your background is interesting. So right out of the gate, I'm going to ask you, Todd, tell us a little bit about Todd Franko.
I'd love to tell that. So I'm a proud Youngstown resident, proud Poland resident, but originally from Buffalo. And I tease folks that the comparisons between Buffalo and Youngstown are right there. Big brother, little little sister. So feel at home here since 2007. Live in Poland, wife, 3 sons, and enjoying life. Enjoyed my time as Vindicator editor. And oddly enough, when we closed down, it was able to launch me into a second career working for a national nonprofit looking to save local news, and that's called Report for America. So that's been I think we closed the Vindy August 30th, and I started this job September 15th, and that's been my life ever since. What happened in Youngstown's happening everywhere in the country, and that's my day-to-day job. But the fun part of my life, actually I can't even say it's in the summer anymore because Greatest Golfer has just been a great mistake that's become an awesome opportunity in life, and we're in the throes of it right now.
Yeah. As passionate as you are about journalism and Report for America, what you're doing, I know you're equally as passionate about Greatest Golfer.
Yeah.
And, farmers, we sit here and think, how far we've come and the evolution from the very early days when you came to us with this idea. And we've, as you always tell the story, Farmers has partnered with you guys since the very beginning and proud to do so. But take us back to the idea and the origins of Greatest, and it's such a good story.
All right, so the Vindicator got a new press, and I thought let's have a colorful thing to show off. And I thought, green grass of golf, let's have the greatest golf holes of the Valley. And at a previous place I'd been, they had a tournament at the end, or they had a tournament as part of their thing. So I thought, well, if we're going to do this for 18 weeks, why don't we have a party at the end of the 18 weeks and let's have a tournament? And we had it, but we were. Several things had to happen for it to succeed, and one of it was to get the golf course participation, one of it was to get the participation of Mr. Moransky, Kristen Moransky, but before those, it has to have with you guys. So right away out of the gate in 2009, if I remember right, 2010 winter, we said, hey, we got this idea, and the conversations with farmers, the conversations with the Moranskys, the conversation with Mill Creek just went so quick. It's just amazing how something like that, as big as it is now, started with 3 simple conversations and 3 very quick yeses, and I'm still stunned by it.
Well, I think it goes to show, golf in the Mahoning Valley has been alive and well for a long time, and we have some great country clubs. You mentioned Ed, and of course the Lake Club. We've got some great public courses, and it's just a rich history of golf in the Valley. And one of the things I love is I'm always struck every year with after the event, the stories that come out. People that have played together that hadn't connected in years, or sometimes it's actually just in the course of play, great shots, miraculous comebacks. You've heard some great stories. I mean, can you boil one down and share an interesting story with us?
Actually, I just reposted it again for this. Been on our social media ecosystem for 6 years, but I think the Dan Horacek story. Dan's a teacher at Austintown Fitch, cerebral palsy, never won in his life. Yeah. Never won a championship, and it's neat on the video when you hear him. He doesn't say I have a disability. He goes, I don't run as fast as others, yeah. Which in his world, and he teaches special ed, yeah. Special needs, and to have Dan as a champion is a pretty awesome story amongst many stories. Photo last year in our seniors division, Eddie Seco has been playing since day one of Greatest, as has Dick Marlowe. Eddie finally wins 11 years into Greatest, and putting his arm around him is Dick Marlowe. So stories like that are awesome. And I think, what those stories solidify for me is that the competition of Greatest is like the 3rd most important thing. And people pause because it's a golf tournament, but to me, it's community and it's camaraderie. And I think if I don't have those 2 things, the competition to me It's nice to have, but I really want to get us out of our silos. And not to get too real life, I think when you see January 6th issues and the Capitol, we're in our silos these days. And what I saw immediately with Greatest is the ability to get out of the Tippy silo and the Lake Club silo and the Mill Creek. Let's get us all together one time a year. And so the camaraderie and the community first. And when you see the arms around the shoulders and a guy like Dan Horacek winning his first championship ever, that's the specialness of Greatest Golfer to me.
Yeah. So obviously we all know about the adult event, and we'll talk about the dates and times. I'm going to ask you to rattle through those things. Also, the juniors has become a wonderful event. The long drive, how much fun the adult long drive has become. So what's different this year? What do fans of Greatest need to watch out for that they might see that's a little bit different from previous years? And then walk us through the dates and times of all these different events.
So I'm a big believer in not standing still, and I think you always have to innovate and keep adding to the mix. My wife doesn't like it when I'm in the kitchen because I can never make the same thing twice because I'm adding something, just winging it. So with Greatest Golfer, every year we've added, and this year we added 2-player events, you and a partner playing, and strategic in making sure, again, getting back to community and the camaraderie, we added it to Yankee Run, we added to Firestone, added to Riverview. So there's 3 2-player events sprinkled throughout the year. You talked about the long drive event that's coming up in a couple of weeks. We just finished a junior long drive opportunity, and that was hosted at Trumbull Country Club. So for the teenagers, we added a skills competition. And those, I think, are the 2 biggest additions, were the 2-player and the junior skills show-off competition. Within the adult event in August, we've added 2 more divisions with the thought that let's bring more people into the space. So those are the 3 big additions this year.
So what's next? You're a big thinker, and ever since I've met you and we've partnered, we've always talked about that. What's next? I mean, even if it's just on the drawing board, maybe what's next in Youngstown? What's next for Greatest?
So Greatest, there's a couple ways to answer. For Greatest Golfer, the 2 events I relish the most are the World Amateur in Myrtle Beach, and they bring 3,500 golfers together the last weekend of August. And don't think they're coming to the ocean and all that, because it's 6 hours on a course in 90-degree humidity. They're just coming for golf, and they're coming from all over the country, 3,500 golfers. I'd like to have the Greatest Golfer of the Great Lakes, and we bring 1,000 golfers to Youngstown. We got great courses, we got great partners. We're at 19 courses this year, and they're the most awesome partners to make this bigger than just a golf event. So I think 1,000 golfers, showing off Youngstown, showing off what we got here, and that's next for me, I hope. And I think that's just another year or 2 away. If we can get to 400 golfers this year, then I think we can get to 500 to 600, and then we are a destination for 4 or 5 states coming for the best amateur golf experience that you guys helped build. Greatest, in addition to that, I want to take what we've done with golf and I think move it into other platforms. I think Greatest is just a stage, and when you go onto our YouTube channel now, you see a couple people saying that they got into Greatest Golfer because they wanted to be part of something positive. And I think there's a lot of positive stories to do in Youngstown, a lot of positive vehicles to build, and I think it's the right people getting together. And I think I'd like to be part of that posse to say that let's create a few more vehicles that tell the better side of Youngstown. I think that's what you see in Greatest Golfer. And I've got about 4 more ideas.
That's great stuff. And, I'm always struck by, too, one of the things the golfers feel so connected because you guys do such a great job of getting them on the YouTube channel, interviewing them post-event, getting their thoughts about what can get better. I mean, I've seen, countless interviews with these golfers. And, I have to think that those people come back next year because they're so connected because you've brought them into the fold more than just golfing.
Yeah, I think for a lot of us, we still want to compete. We want to be part of the community. I think to let us tell our stories. One of my inspirations for the whole vehicle is simply things like Survivor and American Ninja Warrior and Dancing with the Stars, giving average folks a stage for 15 minutes. And we all have our lives. We got to do our 9 to 5, but give me a stage for something I'm good at. And for the golfers, now I'm a hockey guy. We couldn't do this with hockey because there's just not that many people playing hockey here in the Valley. But for golf, give them a stage, let them talk a little bit about it, let them brag, get a little chest thumping, and then go back to your lives. But that 15 minutes of video magic is just a great thing that carries on and tells the story. And just as you said, I think keeps them part of this franchise.
Yeah. And you always have done a nice job of keeping another group together, and that's the sponsors and the people that have helped make this responsible. I know you've connected me and farmers with a number of the different sponsors that have made this possible. I want to put you on the spot here for a moment, give you an opportunity to just thank some of the people, some of the sponsors. You've mentioned farmers, you always mention us. You talked about Ed and Chris Moransky. Anybody else, as we wrap up here?
Honestly, you can go right down 224, and it's just been great with HBK, with Sweeney, with Kufleitner. We added Save-A-Lot, the Nemens family. I'm going to miss some. You're going to put me on the spot, but you go down and it's on our site. But there are 35 investors in this, and there's last year COVID, we needed someone to say, hey, we believe in you, and that's where Joe Dickey Electric comes in. Eric Carlson says, hey, you got some issues with COVID, it might not happen. We're going to make sure that you've at least got the funding for juniors. Yeah. Eric Carlson comes out of nowhere, and there's Joe Dickey. So you've got examples like that all up and down this part of the county. So 35 folks making sure it happens, and just grateful to every one of them. But it started with one.
Well, we're happy to be that one. And if you did miss somebody, I know you'll catch them because you're out in front of a lot of these events and you're always giving credit to the sponsors. That's one thing we really appreciate is the gratitude that you show to us. And then we certainly show gratitude back to you for what you're doing for the community and all the golfers, the passionate golfers out there. So
it's easy to do. You guys stepped up, and I think a lot of times when you put your neck out there, there's people willing to smack you back and like give you grief. I want to recognize you guys put your neck out there as did others, and I'm so grateful you did it.
Yeah, happy to do it. And hey, that's Todd Franko and the greatest golfer of the Valley. It's an exciting time, as it always is in July and August for golfers all around the Mahoning Valley. And once again, thanks, Todd, greatest golfer guru, for being here with us today on another Farmers National Bank Blue Table Talk. That's all for now.